Sayang, sayang, started. Opening Chinese. Okay, guys. So, anyway, I am Cholo Puno. I am your host for tonight. First off, thank you everyone for attending and welcome to Bitcoin Beer and Bitstories by Draper Startup House, Manila. And first off, how's everyone doing? I know Q4 hasn't been kind to us. We're aiming everyone here who's in the Web3 industry. Um, I'm happy to see you surviving. So many things happening these days. So many events. Last weekend we had Web3 Summit, Web3 Philippines Summit here. It was a 2-day event. Um, yeah. And then 2 weeks from now is going to be Philippine Startup Week and Web3 Festival. And that's a week long. So, yeah. Q4 hasn't really good to say. But yeah, so thank you. Thank you for attending Bitcoin Beer and Bit Stories. We have an amazing line of startups pitching tonight and panelists. And the panel tonight is about investing in Web3. So I'm sure everyone is keen into figuring out what that is. And yeah, so to start, maybe I could introduce what Draper Startup House is for the newcomers here. And yeah, I don't know. Play the video. So Draper Startup House, we actually wear a lot of hats. A lot of people get confused what Draper Startup House is, but to put it simply, we are a co-working space, a hotel, an event space, and a venture capital. So we do wear a lot of hats, and we try to connect, inspire, and empower entrepreneurs in our spaces. It's actually our goal to enable 1 million entrepreneurs by 2030. And we're present in over 35 countries around the world. And yeah, Draper Startup House is the space for Web3. And yeah, again, let me just subtly plug, if you're keen into hosting side events for the upcoming Web3 Festival, or even Blockchain Week from November 28th to December 4th, let me know. We can maybe partner together and we can offer your space for your side event. And as you saw in our video, there's this thing called Public House there. Recently, we just opened Public House. It's a bar, kitchen. It's also a kitchen incubator. You guys should check it out. If you're planning to stay here past 12 and just get drunk with your friends, or even alone, I do that sometimes. Yeah, feel free to go inside Public House. It's pretty amazing there. And affordable. You don't see a lot of affordable drinks here in Polish, so Public House That's off the affordable drinks. All right. So again, you could scan our POA. This collects your attendance, and who knows, if you keep scanning this, maybe you'll get special rewards in the future. So that's something that works. So better to scan the POA. All right. So for tonight, our official media partner is Bitpinas. For your everyday Web3 news, visit www.bitpinas.com. They're our official media partner for every BBB. Thanks, Michael. Woo! Yeah, Michael, maybe you can talk about Bitpinas a bit.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael from Bitpinas.com, and we cover cryptocurrencies and now Web3 also Bitcoin and NFTs here in the Philippines. And we have been covering the space since 2017, and we have expanded our coverage to Web3 and recent Bitcoin, which has exploded in popularity here in the country. So as you can see, here are some of our reports since 2017 and then 2018, 2018. That was the year of meetups, but I think 2020 is the year of meetups. And then, yeah, so those are the things that we've been doing since then. And lately, we have some initiatives. We have this thing called the jobs portal in the BitPinas website, where if you are looking for jobs, you can visit there. And then we also have our events page, especially during the next 2 weeks, where there will be a lot of events that are related to crypto and Web3. So you please visit our events page at bitpinas.com. So so these are the two main events that are happening, especially in the week of November 14th, the Philippine Web3 Festival and the Big Auction Conference happening both at the same time. And then numerous side events also here in Draper, where I will be as well. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Again, yeah. I think, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, it's November 16th, right? You're excited about Web3 Festival. 16, right? Yeah, so Bitpinas is one of the companies hosting a side event at our space. And yeah, again, let me plug that. If you try to book our space throughout the week, we will offer a 10% discount on the event spaces. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you want to do a side event. Okay, so these are the two companies, two startups rather, that are going to pitch tonight. Meta and SparkPoint. Again, this is the setup. So for the people who attended BBB before, we kind of switched it. So the panel discussion will be after the break. But yeah, the startups will have 7 minutes to pitch. And then after the 7 minutes, we'll open the floor to Q&A. So this is your time to shine. If you want to grill these startups, or if you're interested, to ask these questions, it would be very helpful actually to the startups. Anyway, let's get this started. Pinabato-bato ko yan. Para sino mauna. Okay, first up, let me invite SparkPoint. And to give you a brief description of SparkPoint, SparkPoint aims to fast track mainstream adoption of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency by developing products, services, and solutions based on it. And to talk more about this, let me welcome John Anthony Balbin, or more commonly known as Babs. He's the lead QA specialist at SparkPoint Technologies Incorporated.
Guys, good evening. How are you? So yeah, tonight I will be talking about SparkPoint. So, thank you, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, that's it. Okay. So what is SparkPoint? So SparkPoint is a blockchain technology company that was launched in way back 2018, and it was established in Bicol region. And I am proud to say that it is one of the first cryptocurrency startups here in the Philippines. So our main goal is to fast track mainstream blockchain technology and cryptocurrency adoption here in the Philippines, and also through by developing products and services related to it. So more of that I will discuss later. So going next is Inspired Point. We believe that blockchain technology is a catalyst in digital revolution. That's why we are developing different products that will reinvent digital payments in order to build a better future. So next. So here are the brilliant minds behind the Spark Point. So our CEO, Mr. Andy Agnas, and our CTO, Mr. Rico Zoniga. So they both have an expertise in the field of finance and technology, with combined 8 years of experience on founding and leading successful startups here in the Philippines. So next. Okay, so as a company, we also have our goals and purpose, and here is our mission. So our mission is we want to be globally competitive, and we want to focus more on financial inclusion by, of course, integrating blockchain technology, and we want to promote financial literacy awareness, especially to the people here in the Philippines, by reinventing the world of digital payments. And also, our vision is we want to encourage people to participate in digitizing payment transactions, especially nowadays that people are going cashless. And I believe the pandemic was a big factor on that. So yeah, the Inspire Point, we want to ease the hassle of transferring money and participating in cryptocurrency exchanges, of course by providing inclusive financial services with the use of blockchain technology. Next one. Okay, so what are the products that we are offering in SparkPoint? So we have the SparkPoint wallet. It is a non-custodial cryptocurrency wallet. We also have a Sparkler. It is an online blockchain and Web3 educational platform. We also have SparkTech, and more of that I will discuss later. We also have Spark Rewards. It is a bounty and airdrop platform. And also, of course, our native token, the SRK token, which powers the whole SparkPoint ecosystem. And also, that token is deployed on Ethereum mainnet, and it has also an equivalent token in Binance Smart Chain, which is the SRKB. Also, we also have the SparkPlay. SparkPlay is commonly mistakenly as known as a play-to-earn game, but it's not. Its purpose is solely for entertainment only. And of course, lastly, we have the Spark DeFi, which was recently rebranded as SparkSwap. It is our decentralized finance platform, wherein we have the SparkSwap, where you can swap tokens. We also have the Spark Bridge, where you can bridge tokens from Ethereum mainnet to Binance Smart Chain and vice versa. Also, we have staking pools, wherein you can stake your own token and earn a token as a reward. And also we have an IDO platform, the Spark Launch, wherein projects can host their IDO or initial text offering. So alongside with it is the SparkPoint Fuel, the governance token of SparkSwap. So next one. Okay, so let's talk about building. So before that, I'd like you first to meet the amazing team behind the SparkPoint. So yeah, here. Meet the Sparky team. So going back, along with the inception of SparkPoint, we only have 4 members, including the 2 founders and 2 developers. But right now, I'm proud to say that we are currently more than 30 members. And these members are experienced professionals in leadership, management, development, marketing, finance, design, and education. This team has gone through a lot. We've been there during the bear market of 2018, the bear market of 2020, together we celebrated the bull market of 2021, and still we are here currently today. So yeah, next one. Okay, so what are the services that we are currently offering under the Spark Tech Development Services? So we are offering Web3 game development, also smart contract development, and also front-end and back-end development. Okay, so smart contract development. So in Smart Point, we develop contracts that are secure, accurate, and of course transparent, which you can use in DeFi applications such as SparkSwap, decentralized exchange, and also NFT minting and others. So we got the right contracts for all of your needs. So next month. We also have the front end and the back end development service, wherein from starting from the UI UX up to the back end integration, the smart contract integration, we have the right experts to do that for you. So next, we also have the Web3 game development, also known as blockchain game development. So we all know that crypto gaming rocked the crypto world during 2021. So if you want to have your own play to earn game, yeah, we have extensive experience in co-creating such games. And of course, we have partnerships with brilliant game studios and artists in the country. So so yeah, that's it. But before I end my presentation, I would like to congratulate first our company for reaching 4 years in the space. So just recently we have celebrated our 4th year anniversary. So yeah, thank you guys.
All right, thanks, Babs. So now we're gonna be opening the floor for a quick Q&A, 5 minutes. So any takers, any people with a question, with Babs, anyone? Questions about Spark Point, going once, going twice. Oh, it's my, it's my.
Hello, I'm Isma, who you know me already. So my question is, what do you think are the ingredients why, it's really hard to survive at least 1 year in the crypto space? So what do you think is the ingredient that SparkPoint has that it lasts for 4 years? So
Thank you for that question, Isma. So I think we just stick on our vision to provide services that will help people in to adopt more cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. So I think we have the team that is talented enough, and also founders that are very visionary in terms of blockchain technology. So I think what is that's what's important in this case.
Any follow-up questions to that? Anyone? All right. Sige. Good job, man. You survived. Give him a round of applause. Oh! Come on. Sorry. Sorry, you're not out yet.
Hi. So back in I think 2020, I stumbled upon Spark Play. You said that it was for purely entertainment purposes only. But back then, no, I was playing game. I think it was the knife game where I was supposed to get the apple with the knife, right? So I was playing the game, and I got ads. So it's for me. It's not for entertainment purposes only. It helps. I think it helps with your funding. So now has it changed because it's now 2020? How will it evolve? How will Spark Pay change? Is it still an ad-based revenue system for you guys, or how do you plan to evolve in the future?
Yeah, thank you for that, sir. Back then, we conducted a tournament in that crypto solitaire before. Crypto slicer, I mean, wherein the axes or the knives are also an NFT, right? So yeah, so now we transition Spark Play into our sister company, which is the Meta Gaming Guild, if you are familiar with that. So that Meta Gaming Guild is now the one developing play-to-earn games. If you are familiar with Meta Saga Warriors, it is what we are currently building now. So yeah, that's why we already transitioned into play-to-earn.
All right. Any more questions, guys? Going once, going
Guys, guys, more. Okay, you survived. You officially survived now. Give them a round of applause, everyone. All right. So that's part one. Next up. Next up. Next up startup is MetaN. So using blockchain, they are a cross-border real estate investment, not exclusive to the rich people, but safe, transparent, and affordable to low to middle income people. And to talk about that, let me introduce Bernard Mendoza, or more commonly known as Papa B. He is the local growth manager of the MetaN app. Hey, thanks, Papa B. Good luck.
Alright, thank you so much. So yeah, I'm Papa B. So before I start my presentation, who among you here wants to enter the real estate industry? Alright, thank you so much. So here in Meta, we are just enhancing the real estate industry. So first, let me show you the four problems that we saw in this industry. Next slide, please. So first, we are very limited to local options. If you want to invest, if you're a foreigner and you want to invest here in the Philippines, your only option is to be a citizen or marry a citizen. Number two, there is a high entry barrier. You need a huge amount of money to enter in real estate, right? Two, yeah. And then it's hard for you to liquidate your assets usually. Now, if you want to sell your property or you want cash, you can't just sell a door of your condominium to get a liquidity, right? And then very limited information. If you want to get into the real estate, you don't know which property to invest in. And you don't know if they're providing you with the right data, the right information, if you're going to get the dividends. And then, of course, if you really want to invest here in the Philippines or in other country, in a foreign country, your investment is not that protected, especially if the law doesn't really permit you to own a property here. Next slide, please. So we are providing solutions by utilizing the blockchain and following REIT regulations. So we are selling REIT NFTs, and we have a co-investment platform on the blockchain that opens it for global investors. And it's really affordable now because one NFT is just $10, and we will have a B2B marketplace so you can easily liquidate your assets. And of course, we have third parties. Third parties, we have two companies, reputable companies who will provide us transparency, providing us the financial reports. And of course, we make sure that all of our investors are safe through the combination of our legal setup, utilizing blockchain, and following financial securities regulations like SEC in the US and CSE in Canada. So let me show you the business model of Meta. So first, we select a property in our portfolio. Yeah, we select a property in our portfolio, then we issue REIT NFTs. Then our investors can log in our platform, check that portfolio, and then they can now transfer the USDT or USDC or any stable coin to buy the NFTs. And then once the portfolio is fully funded, we can now deploy the investment fund, and then the asset management will now run income generating assets. Then our third parties will provide us with financial reports, and our bank custodians will protect our land certificates. So there are two main revenue streams for MetaN. Number one is the asset management fees. Of course, for it to be hassle-free for us, they will be the ones to manage it, and they have to earn from it. Number two, the transaction fees that they have inside our platform. Next please. So how will our investors earn from this? So number one, our investment strategy is we only buy properties in central business district. And we make sure that that property is income generating and it has regular or stable monthly income returns. Right? So for our operation strategy, what we do is we minimize our operation cost to maximize the margins that we can share with our investors. Because here, you not only get dividends, right? So we give dividends quarterly, and you also get the appreciation of the value of your NFTs is directly proportional to the appreciation of the value of the real estate asset. So next please. So this is how our platform will be. So this is where you can find a portfolio where you can invest in. This is also where you will buy the NFTs. And here you can check your earning depending on your holding period. This is also where you get your dividends quarterly. And this is also where our valuation partners will update the value of the assets, including your NFTs. So next slide. So to make sure that everything is regulated in this decentralized world, we maintain chose to have these partners in terms of bank, financial tax and audit, legal partners, valuation partners, DeFi, smart contract, KYC, and chain partners. Because they want to make sure that everything that is financial report related and coding matters are independent and it will not be manipulated for personal purposes. So next slide, please. So in our first year since we launched, so we have these milestones. We were able to grant funds from the following: IDG Capital Vietnam. We are also funded by Canada government startup. And of course, Labs. This is the venturing arm of Avalanche. And we have more than 1,500 individual retail investors across 4 countries. And we have a strong community with more than 38,000 members. And we're able to sell 43,899 NFTs for our first investment round. Next, please. So here are our founders and co-founders. They're a long-time group of friends who shares the same values of creating an impact. So they have more than 16 years of experience in their respective industries, in real estate investment trust, blockchain, marketing, securities, and audit. So next please. So we were able to get to 4 countries now. So we have Philippines, Vietnam, Brazil, and Vietnam. Right. So and then in the next 2 years, our goal is to land with Canada, US, Europe, India, Australia, Japan, Korea, Malaysia. Yeah, so next please. So this is our pipeline, asset pipeline. So our investment criteria is to make sure that number one, it is located in central business districts. Because we want to make sure that you are covered with a year-on-year growth for those properties. And then number two, high liquidity, of course, and full legal documents. And we make sure that these properties have parking so we can rent it out easily. Alright, next please. So with this, in Meta-In, we are building your wealth one NFT. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Papa B. Congrats.
Thank you.
So, we're gonna open the floor again to Q&A. Any first takers? Any questions? Cool. All right.
Gavin, you know,
Yeah, I have a good presentation, man. I just wanted to check, so the properties that are under your management at the moment, are they in Vietnam and the Philippines only?
It's in Vietnam.
Vietnam. So you have any Philippine properties yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Might want to buy mine.
You can talk. Yeah, sure.
over at the back.
Well, I think the previous question already kind of like answered some of my questions, but who's the contact person if in case that I'm dealing with some tech startups and I've got a digital marketing agency working with properties. So who should I have with for this opportunity? And in real life application, when we're dealing with property management and condominium owners, how does this apply in the Philippines?
Alright, so for the first question.
Thank you so much. So the first question is with regards to who to connect, right? So this is the email address of one of our co-founders. You can email him, her directly, or if you have any concerns, you can talk to him. Yeah, and then we can lay out everything. So once we get to her, everything's already. All right. So the next question is regarding the regulations here in the Philippines. Did I get it right?
Real life application for property owners, and a lot of people invest here in properties, and I deal with some property management companies.
Okay. So we are still looking into that because, like I said, we are focusing more on Vietnam right now. So once we get here in the Philippines, we have different advisors here. So who can also help us with those regulations and how we can fully utilize this technology here in the Philippines. So everything will be open for discussion still. We still have no concrete layout plan for this, but it's one of their considerations to have this platform enter the Philippines and have properties here that we can also put inside our platform. Yeah. So did that answer your question? Okay. Sure. Thank you so much. Okay, anyone else?
Sorry, who is? Oh,
realty, I think it's a very similar concept, except we focused on like single bid tax coins in the US, like maybe Miami and Detroit. They were recently like bought out by consensus. I'm just kind of wondering if you look into their model and whether your entity and what kind of entity structure you used for doing that typing. And then, yeah, like is it verifiable? I mean, because the entity structure that realty use, like you can actually like fight for your ownership of the housing to the end through their US tokens. I'm wondering if that's possible in your case as well. That was the entity.
All right, thank you so much for that question. So what we're doing here is the NFT will act as your fund certificate if you decided to invest here. So Meta has their different legal platform advised by Morgan Lewis on how to legalize everything and how we can make sure that everyone can have a proof of ownership of their share. That's why in here we're going to KYC everyone. Because what we do is with the legal framework that Morgan Lewis did for us, is we are going to KYC everyone. So the bank who has the land certificates also have access to the investors. So whatever happens to the asset management, and the meta in themselves, God forbid, right? So God forbid, they can easily liquidate the assets and give back our investments on market value. Sorry. Are you going to get that? Okay. So for the legal structure, they have three entities. They have the asset management is in Vietnam, the main company is in Canada, and they also have another entity in Switzerland. But if you want to discuss further the whole legal structure of it, I am not that permitted to discuss everything, but we are very much open for those guys for those who wants to find out the full legal structure of NetNet. We can schedule a meeting with Morgan Lewis and Ms. Denise herself.
Okay. So Mix and then Paul and then you. Sorry. That. Okay. I'll get you saying.
Hi. So I guess one of the more fun things that I experience in crypto is experiencing daily yield. Like every day, I can see daily. I get another crypto. So earlier you talked about how I only get yield on a quarterly basis. Will it be possible in the future that I get yield every day, or maybe shorter increments, like maybe weekly, maybe monthly? Is that possible?
All right. So, of course, they are also looking into that because they also want you to appreciate what you're gaining from this platform. But right now, we are very much limited to those options because these are dividends. What you're getting quarterly is the dividends, and then for the valuation of your NFTs, that is directly proportional to the value of the asset. CBRE will update the value semi-annually. So twice in 2 years, every 6 months, right? So there you can appreciate it somehow on the P2P marketplace already. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, just to add to that, you're in Avalanche, right?
Yes.
So, well, technically, in a way, you're gonna do B2B, right? So,
Yeah.
in a way, you don't really have a custodial thing happening that you don't really have a liquidity pool, for example, for USDT, etc.
All right. So that's a different. I think that will be on a different platform as those two running independently. So the B2B marketplace will be available for those just to address the fact that not all real estate investors can easily liquidate their assets. So of course that will also be supported by the legal framework.
So, follow up to that, so, for example, if I want to liquidate my REIT NFT, I can just, sell that to someone and get USDT or something.
Yeah, basically you can, but everyone has to move through our platform.
All right, last question.
Wow, thank you so much for your wonderful questions. I appreciate it.
Are you guys gonna handle the liquidity? Like, some holders would probably want to sell, right? And then there's probably gonna be a disparity between the NFT price and the actual property price. How are you guys gonna handle that?
Okay, so for the P2P marketplace that we're going to have, so think of it like USDT and centralized exchanges. So it's pegged on dollar, right? So the value is really. We can talk later. Yeah. Thank you so much. I finished answer. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so it's pegged. The USDT is pegged on $1, right? So it's regulated by dollar. So what we'll do in our P2P marketplace is the value of the NFTs will be pegged on the value of the real estate assets that we have. So for the one value of one share. So the ones who will be maintaining that value is CBRE. They'll be releasing the valuation every 6 months. So that will be the basis of the.
Every moves every 6 months.
It's valuated every 6 months. Yes, and then you get dividends. So basically, don't get mad. Easy. I'll answer your question. Thank you so much.
Finish your answer.
Easy, girl. But thank you. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, it's spec on that. So the marketplace really is just to provide the easy to make it more liquid for the investors if you really want to get your money out. So basically, we have a holding period for this for you to fully enjoy the value of your investment. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Go down.
So many questions. All right, guys. Well, if you guys have more questions to both of the people who pitched, you may ask them after the panel discussion. We're gonna have a networking session after. But yeah, let's give a round of applause to
Thank you so much.
All right. So before we proceed to the break, I just want to take this opportunity to talk about Draper Startup House Ventures Fund. So, like I said earlier, while I was introducing Draper Startup House, I mentioned that we're also a venture capital, and via venture capital, we have our own ventures fund. And Draper Startup House Ventures Fund, we invest directly in early stage innovation-based startups in growth industries or emerging technologies in every stage. So whether you're in your growth stage, Series A, Series B, or even when you're in your mature stage, we accept those applications. I'm proud to say that we have 24 Draper funds. We're present in over 60 plus countries. We've invested in over 300 businesses, and we've introduced more than 300 companies as well. And we have 100,000 active members in our entrepreneurial community. And you might ask, how do we do this? Or as a founder, how does it work? DSH Ventures Fund invests up to $100,000 in businesses to any innovation-based scalable company, any startups working in any growth industry or sector, and you could be just located anywhere. Like I said, Draper Startup House is present in over 35 countries all over the world, and we're growing. Or if you don't want to be invested, we can connect you to our vast network of angel investors, angel groups, and global syndicates. We actually have 24 global ventures fund, like I mentioned, and yeah, we could be your designated wingman for whatever angel investor that you're looking for or VC. Yeah, so if you want to, sorry, and now I remember. I want to say, like, with the Draper Startup House Ventures Fund, I'm proud to say that we actually invested already in one Philippine-based startup using our own funds. So, yeah, come on, guys, go pitch at BBB or go to our events. You might just be the next company that we will invest on. Yeah, if you want to know more about this or you want to apply to it, scan this code. It will take you right to our website. Thanks, guys. Again, we will have a short break. You could get beer at Cafe 1475 or coffee. The coffee is not free, but the beer is if you have a stop. Or you could order from the Funnel Cake Factory and the Urban Corn Dog. So we'll be right back, guys. Thanks. See ya. And the last panelist, he is the head of research of Magnus Capital. Let's welcome Ken Arthur Bastin. All right, and for our wonderful moderator, he's the Chief Evangelist Officer of Likha. He is Nikko. All you boys do it. Here.
Hi brothers, first of all, Draper, thank you very much for inviting me to moderate tonight. Looks like we have a wild crowd tonight, guys. Very honored to be talking here with the dream makers themselves. You're the ones fueling startups here in the Philippines and abroad. So guys, why don't we introduce ourselves? Tell us a bit about your company, your VC. Start with you.
So I'm director of Bitpinas. We're an investment advisory firm specifically looking at kind of Web3. Been based here in the Philippines since 2018 and really got into the play word space at the start. Maxi, my business partner, Likha and Butler wrote the first ever article about Axie Infinity on CoinDesk. We then turned that into a short documentary, play to earn NFT gaming in the Philippines. And from that, just went down the rabbit hole of Web3 and started to a lot more investments because we just saw the potential of particularly the Philippines initially and the impact it could have. So we really decided to focus on that. We've been doing it now for a couple of years.
Oh, bro, I was very into Axie myself. Solid guys, solid guys. What about you, Gavin?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I am from Unity, which is a US venture capital and DeFi hedge fund. I'm working on the strategy side of the business. I'm also a UK lawyer, practiced in the city of London for about 10 years. What else can I tell you? Unity is interested in all things Web3, everything but exponential technologies, and we just formed earlier this year. The founders have extensive experience in exponential technologies and Web3. We're pretty excited about the future, and I'm here to see what's happening in Southeast Asia and Philippines. And then personally speaking, I'm an angel investor as well, and I personally also already invested in a startup in Asia, so also looking for other opportunities. I do have to give you a disclaimer as well. So anything I say is not legal advice, because I'm a lawyer, and it's not financial advice. So, and all my views are my own.
Got it. That was solid to hear. I'm sure a lot of founders here are very excited to hear from you. Brother Gavin, let's go.
Just wanted to agree with Gavin first and foremost. Anything I say, just don't take it as investment advice. So Ken, I'm head of research for Magnus Capital. We've been a crypto VC, crypto native since 2017. We've invested in over 250 plus projects over the years and helped founders from 0 to 100, launching their startups, launching their projects and so forth. And funny story, us starting out, we were just like a fund of about $10,000 in 2017. And today we've grown to an AUM of about 150 to 200 million just through pure organic, I would say, early stage VC and multi-strategy blockchain fund. So yeah, we have no LPs, we're all privately funded, and yeah, we've grown to today just through that. All right, thanks.
All right, what's up? Yeah, I'm an angel investor / prop fund manager of Reframe. You can check us out at reframe.xyz. We try to be like really early checks into just like good companies and founders, and mostly around crypto. We were pretty, I would say we were one of the earliest into like protocol holding, really, if about without the curriculum. Recently, very focused on modular blockchains, made an investment into Celestial, and like a lot of infrastructure projects such as like Notify, which is aiming to be like the management of Web3. So that's pretty investing in founders with like real concept of opportunity.
Well, it's good to hear.
And also not financial advice. So we're also like not really funded. So it's all private capital.
But what's important is all four of you invest in startups, correct? There we go. There we go. Okay. Small factoids, guys, before we start. 2021, there was 33 billion invested by VCs to Web2, to start up and all that stuff. 2022, we are paced to go times 2. We're doubling that this year. So I guess what we want to find out here tonight is the secret. How do we get VCs to invest in this? Especially us Filipinos. I know we're starting a Web3 initiative here. So brothers, let me start with the first question. Why are you investing in Web3? Is this a part of a strategy by VCs today? Why don't we start with you first, Gavin, since you're head of strategy, correct, in Unity?
Yeah, you guys hear me on this? Yeah. Yeah, well, to put it simply, and I'm sure you guys have heard this like 100 times, investing in Web3 is akin to investing in the early internet. There's so much value, there's so much creative tech which is happening right now in space. And I think most people here probably weren't able to invest, were too young to invest in the 90s when the internet started. Well, I think right now with Web3, it's your chance to support where you see so much value in the future.
It's our chance to shine, the new generations.
Exactly.
Perfect. Let's go clockwise, and you go next. Same question.
So why do you invest in blockchain and Web3, right? So I think the short answer is money. But for us, we believe in Web3 to become the next phase of the internet. So at the heart of it all is blockchain and crypto, which enables us to have the economy and financial system that's open, immutable, and collaborative. So in that sense, we're working on a financial layer that empowers us as human beings, right? Take, for example, state and church. So one of the biggest accomplishments in history is actually separating the two. And so now it comes to us to actually do that, separating money and state and politics. So for us, these are the kinds of principles that we're really interested in investing in blockchain and Web3. And these are the sort of things that really interest us in investing in these and sort of applications that can be built on top of that.
Can you say this is a priority for the Bitpinas capital? Like, they really say, hey, look for the Web3 stuff. It's good shit.
We've always been crypto native first. We've always been a token fund since 2017, and that's the heart of our investing.
Why Web3?
I think Web3 / crypto blockchain. Right now, I think it's probably one of the most the best technology verticals where you can get exposure to learn about a variety of industries. And when it comes to the browser, internet, and mobile technology before, and now it's just kind of everything. So anything from like tokenizing from outsides or even real estate projects like we just saw on Bitcoin, or like exporting those data that might be sensitive, like making them more accessible for people that's why it's so interesting.
I like when you get to touch a bit of everything. It's awesome that solid. Right?
Yes, for us, I guess, we only invest in Web3. Now, the reason for that is actually because we our secret sauce, we were here in the Philippines, since 2018. We knew something special was going to happen on Father's Day. We kind of had a 10 to 15 year horizon of like, the Philippines is going to do something incredibly exciting in the blockchain space. It's so prime. Companies like Coin really built a foundation. There's 7,000 items that make distributed commerce work. Or make it work here, so it's great proving ground in a young, smart, community. So we're like, all right, we're in this. We thought we'd stumbled across the greatest thing in the world. We're like, these rando Australians who wandered into the Philippines, like, how the hell does no one else know this? Like, why is everyone sleeping on this? And the Philippines was just primed for Web3 for so many reasons. Everyone got Axie took off. Well, Axie kind of took off because of Filipino people. It was a time and place thing. Yes, there was a lot of constraints because of COVID, but it was the nature of, I guess, Filipino community that almost antithesis what Web3 is all about. People learn Axie and then taught their friends. We all want to go together. And that, to me, was a very Filipino kind of trait, which is why we saw the opportunity. It's like, Web3, as it starts to take off, it's going to take off in the Philippines. And then that kind of snowballed. So for us, it was a little bit of, why invest in Web3? Because we're at the epicenter of Web3 here in the Philippines, and no one else is looking at this. So I'm like, I'm not that smart. I can't compete against everyone. These guys hung for a while ago. But I'm here now and I can do it. So I want a head start. And so that's kind of why we really focused on Web3 and particularly starting out about it.
So can you say what M4S is found special in the Philippines is it's the easiest place for adoption for Web3?
Yeah, look, it's definitely not the easiest, but it's an amazing place for adoption. There are also a lot of communities globally where adoption is forced because of so hyperinflation movement in Venezuela, in a place like Czech. There are places where adoption is almost forced upon people. We're very lucky here that it's not, inflation's really killing the peso at the moment, but it's not forced adoption necessarily like it is in other communities. So we're right on that verge of, it's a relatively healthy economy, but the societal trends dictate that it can be adopted well. People are willing to share, willing to on board. It's not a me versus you mentality. It's a real rise together mentality. And that's what we need in the other stages of adoption, particularly Web3, but it just syncs so well with the Web3 ethos.
They were willing to understand how the Ronin bridge works, which I think that's a lot of layers. And the Filipinos were willing because we're hungry. That's an asset, guys. All right, my second question, brothers. What's your stand on new deals? I'm thinking about new investments to journey with these new startups, knowing there's a high probability most bets will go to zero. I mean, given that we're in a speculative space or industry, Rafael, where do we start review this time?
Yeah, so new deals. We've been investing quite actively during the bull, and then recently made thinking about average one investment per month. New deals. This is my review. No matter what the market condition is, if you have like a capable founder with a good idea and able to execute, then like my philosophy is just the best. Sure, the valuation might come down like 50 or like 75% lower in the future, but at that point, that founder is probably not contributing, right? So you can miss out on like good people who are making good projects. So I'm really into it. So new deals, as long as it's like not like a copy X on my chain, copy pasta kind of thing, which could work. Like if that idea is like more feasible on that chain, and like the team is like better to execute. I think like Osmosis is a very good example of this. Osmosis is pretty much like Balancer, but they've done like valuation much higher than outside. They still have much traction. So yeah, just open to just open to
So reframe is really invested in the long run. You guys see something good founders.
yeah, we're going to like like big multiple. It's not up and down kind of things.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not a massive fan of some of the things that happen during the bull market. You have everyone going, oh, I'm launching an NFT for a half-drunk semi-failed. It's pointless. But the people who are building during bear markets, what? They're super passionate. Like, it's not a great time to go, I'm going to launch a new project. You've got to be so committed, you've got to be so passionate about it. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm super keen to kind of watch and see what happens and get involved. Like some of the best things we've seen in crypto have been built out in bear markets. It's very frothy during the hype cycles and bull runs. So yeah, super keen to keep investing during the quiet times. And seeing it a bit of the rules to see it all the way through the end. The other thing I'll add is sometimes it's almost a bit of you invest in a founder or a team, and just because the cycles are going to crash and go to nothing, but the next time that founder raises, if you've been supporting all the way through, if you've added value, then next idea might be amazing. You want to get that first call, be like, hey dude, I've got this thing, do you want it? Yeah, cool. So sometimes for the right people, it's almost like an opt-in strategy to be accessing all the right people who are doing interesting stuff.
So you're like gambling with the risk takers, the ones who are building in the bear. That's amazing. Okay.
Just to echo that, I think you always hear people talking about like the classic thing, invest in founders and stuff, and some of these things might sound like a bit of a cliche, but actually from experience, if you really get to know founders and you get to watch them up close, you can see them operate. You can really tell the difference between the operators and the people who maybe they have a bit of disbelief that comes into play if they come against the challenge. Which will never know these things if you're investing in something at the very beginning and fixed time to identify this. So you have to try and focus on the idea, how it's presented. Is the founder got a clear vision? Is he or she able to demonstrate that vision through a narrative to explain to investors, and can we show that it's set up in context? So those are the things you can keep on your thoughts. Your guidance.
So you just keep betting on those new up and comings, hopefully get the next unicorn, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
So the question was about what's our stance on new deals and how do we feel about them going, most of them going to zero, right? So from our point of view, we accept that risk, and it's always a gamble for us VCs, knowing that most startups will fail. It's not just in Web3, it's in traditional finance, it's in every company that's out there. A lot of them just startups and fail, right? And that's how people learn, and that's how you grow from there. But from our side of things, it's really accepting that risk and really choosing winners and trying to mitigate our risk by looking at good founders, sticking to our frameworks that really helped us grow to today. And I think every VC would actually agree with me that most of the deals that they'll be getting it's not going to live, right? Like if you take 100 projects, 95 of that will mostly fail, and only five out of that will actually win. And so what can we do to actually win that as VCs? So if you guys take the law of large numbers, how it actually works is let's say you invest in 5 companies. So 1 out of these 5 companies will do a 10x, and the others will go to 0. That's a little bit for you because you invested in the right plan. out of that fight, and that will sort of mitigate your loss, and so that you will come out with a good ROI. So that's how we see things, and that's how we sort of gamble into this market. And the biggest VCs accept that. This is the easiest simple way that lets me. They know the risk that they're taking into, and they invest with this framework in mind. Yeah.
Like,
Just to add on to that as well, it's not necessarily a zero-sum game either. There is a middle ground. If you got a couple of founders and they manage to build a business, whether they make it or not, so like an IPO or a big sale or whatever, let's say they get halfway there, they've still built something of value. So that will either be sold to a larger corporation or something like that. So there is still the prospect of some kind of medium level return. So it just depends and vary on any startup.
this is something you guys actually prepare for. When you're ready, there's gonna be bad bets along the way.
Yeah. I come through growth graduation, the concept of investing in Web3 is a slightly different take on that as well, because it's like in traditional VC, it's kind of you had to see it through an IPO or nothing. And here it's going to be a case of, you see, depending on the funds, some may have strategic, liquidation events throughout, and we'll work with the founders. Like that's the thing. Like most people go, oh, the VC's going to dump. No, it's not valid in that. That's not a good strategy. But VCs do still often need to take back, there's some chips off the table. But they'll work with founders and be like, all right, well, here's what we're thinking, over this period of time, how much we produce. It's not, it's not one trick anymore. It's like, you can work with the founders and do some of that because you don't need IPO as the final goal.
So we're figuring out this new space together. VCs, the founders, everyone involved in the space. It's good. My next question is, Nathan, I'll start with you for this. When did you do your last A-levels? I mean, there's a lot of talk right now in the Twitter space, mostly, that VCs are getting complacent. The ones who really made it in 2021 started to slow down. I want to hear everyone's view on this, and as well, share to us when was your last A-levels? Did you guys step on the brakes a bit?
Alright, well, firstly, just to qualify, we're nowhere near as big as the other three city and tail, so just by and large, we do less deals per year. Our last three deals, we've two on the table at the moment. We closed one a month ago, which was my pet new game coming out. It's so cool. Good note to my pet. Very, very cool.
That's the rabbit, the influencer dude. I love that.
Prior to that, probably the previous two deals with the Metaverse Go in August or so. Doing some really interesting stuff at the moment. You'll see more of them in the next month. And Unlocked Finance, which is an NFT rental platform. Again, that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Definitely have to step on the brakes. Two parts to that. It's a slowdown compared to what we're doing earlier in the year. There's just a little bit less deals on it because it's not as frothy and no one's launching new NFTs for half of the big ones. So there's just less deals kind of coming through. That's not a problem. The other thing is we've really dived into working more closely with the founders who are already back. Because some of them are kind of going, oh, it's not get forward. And it's like, cool. What we do as VCs is actually get in the trenches with them. But that just takes your eye off some of the deal flow. We're a small team like us, we're small people. So it's sort of like you jump in and you work with your deals. It's, you don't always have the capacity to keep your flow going. So, in bear markets, every deal needs different levels of care, and you do what you're going to do. So, okay.
It's good. 2 months ago is not long, so I think that's pretty accurate. Kevin, is it for you?
Yeah. So basically, for Unity and really formed. It kind of formed towards the end of last year, but what really started this year. We started with, you can check our website, Unity's website for our portfolio companies. But we started with probably our flagship, biggest financial commitment is in a blockchain company called Uledger. I can just explain a little bit about it. It's, let's say the tagline is blockchain, and this is the vision, the mission, blockchain for business. Without getting too technical, I'll get a little bit technical. So if you imagine Bitcoin, so the concept behind Bitcoin obviously is you have the network miners who basically validate all the transactions in the network. Well, Ledger is much more efficient than the Bitcoin network. It doesn't make consensus from the whole network. It has what's called neighborhoods, which are basically localized nodes, which they basically approve transactions much quicker, much more quickly than Bitcoin, for example. And it's really with Uledger, there's no crypto token at the moment. It's a data-based blockchain, so it's going to data transactions, which is kind of hard to get your head around. But for example, some of Uledger's clients are things like edtech companies who require credential validation and things like that. And also like insurance companies who make boardrooms and business. We also have Penta, which is a blockchain supply chain focused company. And there's a few others which I hope.
Just all of this year.
Yeah, this one this year. And there's another one which is probably more sexy for everyone. It's called B-Rooms, which is it's like it's a remote AI control drone. So you could be here in Manila, and you can control a drone in LA without any music.
This is your latest.
They were this year, but they were like
Altogether.
Yes. Started. But basically, what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be having a proper launch of the convention probably Q1 next year. And we're looking for like some conference to portfolio launch.
Not just this year. Yeah, what about you? Last year.
So when was the last two deals we had? I think, if I'm not mistaken, last month, and like the month before that, and the month before that. So like, basically every month I invested. But this so far, 2022 has been the slowest year compared to 2021, which we've done a lot of deals, 50 projects that we've invested in. Just because our risk factors are different this time. For us, we want to stay defensive and actually mitigate incoming risk just because the sentiment of the market is not well. When these projects launch, most of the time it's not going to do very well. Because the retail market and the institutional market is not there to sort of buy it up and give it larger liquidity and sort of give it a bit bigger sort of buy volume, right? So the last few deals we've been into are more infrastructure plays. So things like Spark, which is basically an infrastructure player, Avalanche, Hero, which is like a layer 2 deal. Like 3, 2, and 1 underground. So another one is Rogue, which is an edutech ecosystem. And the good thing about it is that we invested very, very early in these, and we've been one of the earliest believers in some of these projects. And now that we're talking to some of the biggest VCs, another one is Ultraverse. Just maybe a little 2 years last month. Ultraverse is just like a metaverse, which Finance Labs invested in. Triple A quality, looks amazing, really great sort of metaverse to get there. So the good thing about it is that we invest in these guys before the big VCs start talking to them. So guys like Finance Labs, Sequoia, these guys are talking to me now. So yeah, we're we've been invested in before these big guys.
Okay, before I move on to Raf, guys, when you go here in the middle, there's more seats. Some powerful stuff here. Raf, what about you? What's your last new investments?
Last 3. So this is investments like ones that have been announced. Yeah. Some ones like Sonic on it's essentially an order book exchange near. I was very let's say a big instant town, I would say, with a lot of PC for interest in that. And then there was Before, it's not sure if people are aware of it. It's like hardware is going like this, like with the wallet put into it. I think there's some founders on those as well. And then on Celeste, everything is very happy to be involved. Overall, yeah, they're making investments. Hardware is going to.
Nice. That's a lot. Alright, my next question for you guys is, what is your current exit strategy for your Web3 portfolios? Is this something you've already discussed in your VC? And if so, what is the current strategy for your exit? Sorry.
We're just gonna wait till we see goes and then make that. That's basically the plan, right?
That's legit. I like it.
I mean, it's the whole panel. We're fine. It's all good. No, honestly, don't really have one versus software. Kind of so long term that it's more on the founders and stuff like that. We work with it.
Yeah, like really, I mean that's actually the strategy, right? But basically, you know, as I'm sure most people do, like VCs operate like 5 to 10 years. It's also subjective to particular investments. And if it's does it move? Is it like ready for IPO? Is it going to be bought over? Depends on the time. Deals are available before that start, etc.
So if it moves just dump it all, or do you save a little? How does that work? And usually it's let's make back all of us together. I mean, you guys don't think about the project what's going to happen after you dump all of it at your exit. I mean, basically it's a big role. All of it.
It's not a good idea. Like, if you want to make money, as a VC, you want to work with the project development as much as you can for long sustainable growth. And then, if you want to take chips off the table, you will take a very small amount over 10 months to a year and continue to work with the founders and grow and make it better. Like, if you start dumping projects, you're holding, like, you lose so much. It's going to be ridiculous. And you lose all your credibility. And then no one wants to take your investment in the future. And all of a sudden, you crush the company. Like, VCs play long games. We're not sitting there going, oh, I have to make money and start a new career next week. God, no. So this kind of attitude of VCs in the dump, it's just not accurate reflection. Why people get into the game. So, sorry, a bit of a rant, I'll let you guys back. And yeah, we hear it a lot, and it's just not true. Like, really frustrating.
It's good. It applies to everyone.
Yeah. Most of our portfolios, really long-term portfolios. So for us, we work with the project, we work with the founders as much as we can, and we hold as much tokens as we can throughout the investing period. I would say that the strategy, the exit strategy really depends, right? So you have different factors such as tokenomics, the investing itself, the schedule, how emissions will happen. So it really plays into how much you're willing to hold on to, right? So for us, that's usually the case for most of our projects, because when we invest in something, we believe in them. However, there are projects where it's just most likely going to have a huge upspike. So you want to be mitigating your risk by actually taking profits on the TGE. So in that sense, like your Alamedas, your YNSFs, these guys don't too. But they're doing it to recoup their investment, right? So if it does like 100x on launch, like it makes sense to actually sell at least a little bit of that, just in case it goes that down. Of course, it never comes back to that 100x. So it really depends. I guess the strategy is dependent upon the entire ecosystem itself, and how much risk you're willing to take, and what profits will be like out the gate. So yeah, these are some of the things that we look at.
I think Andrew.
Oh yeah, so I actually don't like it when VCs and investors go around, oh, we're not going to sell, like we're in it for like forever. It's just not how it works. right? If you're investing in private capital, at some point you're gonna have to roll it over into other investments, or if you have LPs, you have to give back to LPs, right? But I think there are like good times to sell. Like you shouldn't affect the health of the project. You could sell like offload a bit, like when there's a lot of traction, so that there's enough liquidity that you offloading a bit wouldn't really affect the prices. Marcus, I think that's one good time. And it's also like validated that product's doing well, right? So that's through it until it does well. So I think it is sensible to like offload a bit. Another point is like,
But never completely. Save some.
depends. I've offloaded completely before when I've seen the project or team kind of like not it's okay to be not doing well if you're trying, but I see problems that sometimes I'm trying and then not then like why do you as investors just stick around with the project, right?
I just wanted to add to that. Like,
Go ahead.
I definitely agree with that too. Like, there are strategies, exit strategies that you can do that doesn't affect token price, token health negatively, right? So you can sell it at an earlier stage and not actually negatively affect whatever the price is going to look like. Have a big tolerance, but I think a key factor to selling is sell carefully as a VC because we have a lot of tokens, and so when we kind of sell large, price is just negative 20, negative 30 on one like sell order. So you have to sell smart. You can do that through market makers. You can do that through, I guess, your bots if you have any, or any professional traders. But you have to sell at a point where you're leaving where the project you're doing well enough to sell. And at the same time, the token price can actually be like, oh, I'm not going to dump 50% with this price to sell, right? So yeah, you have to take that sort of consideration.
Got it.
Yeah, these market makers are good.
Yeah.
I thank you for that, guys. Okay, here's the next one. Founders, startups, Alright. So can you guys give your final words for PH founders? What are the do's and don'ts? But mainly what I want to hear is what are your top 3 red flags for those pitching, for the pitchers, the Filipinos? Anyone can start. Who wants to?
Yeah, I think it just comes back to what I was saying at the beginning, really. And it's really important to be able to tell a story, right? So if you have to really frame your business, right? You have to come across passionate about your business. You have to really tell a structured story. And the most important thing is to tell what problem that exists in the market you solve. Then, as I also said at the beginning, how you monetize that. So get your pitch ready. You check pitch deck for the pitches as well, and see what others are doing, and see if you can back by who, which VCs, so you can target the right market. Things like that.
What about red flags? What's something if you see, this guy coming good?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the flip side of what I said. Basically, I've seen so many pitch decks that I've read the pitch deck, and I actually still don't understand what they do at the end of it. And that's the major red flag. And people, I don't know, like some players don't realize that that's what they're doing, but if it's not coherent, I'm not going to give it any time. So I think it really needs to be a good story.
You want to digest the ways. That's very important. And I want to go next.
So like advice for founders. Yeah, so when you guys are choosing your VCs, I want you to guys, and this is a conversation I had with a buddy of mine actually raising for a project right now. And he told me, like, dude, I wish I knew that you don't have to talk to every VC. You're not supposed to pitch to everyone, right? Because not every VC is going to understand what you're doing, the solutions you're creating, and and like, what you guys are actually up to, like what your product is. Because like different VCs have different kinds of expertise. Different VCs have different kinds of viewpoints and managements, right? So if you're talking about, like, let's say, a solution to supply chains, as one of the projects I mentioned earlier, what if a VC doesn't have that in their wheelhouse? It doesn't know shit about actual supply chains, doesn't know shit about, like, let's say, farming. Like, I've seen a pitch last week just about, like, I guess, tokenizing commodities, right? And so, you have to pitch to someone who knows what you're pitching first and foremost, and can add value on that, right? Yeah, so different VCs will have different kinds of expertise, value adds. So be sure to kind of align with that and see what kind of partners are right for you. And as for the red flags, I'm going to write them down so that I don't forget. So I think number one is like approach. You don't want to be badgering someone to find you, right? I met a ton of founders like have been badgering me, like, hey, can you find me? Can you talk to me, take a pitch? I'm going to take a pitch. And most of those guys, like 4 out of 5 that I've met that have actually done that have like failed projects. Like how bad they fucked up. Like they ran away with the funds, man. When you get to meet a VC or someone who likes to back you, it's better to get to know them on a personal basis. And introduce yourself as someone with character. Introduce yourself as someone who has personality. And as VCs, that's what we're actually looking for. Actual founders who have a vision and creativity to really champion what you're doing. I think another part would be experience. Like you guys have to have certain experience what you're building. Like CZ didn't get to build finance just because he was a trader or something. He actually knew matching agents and how to create them even before that. He was an actual beast of fucking doing it, right? So, you want to also create a project that solves issues, right? A big red flag is like your project that just creates something in Web3, but there's no actual use case in Web3. So that's a big red flag for us. I think another one, I would say, split fourth one, but that's okay. Nothing against like serial entrepreneurs, right? I'm a big fan of people who have exited what they've built before and have built amazing things before. But if what you built before has failed like, time and time again, and you raise funds from them, that's not actually going to look good on your portfolio, right? So I think not just Web3 VCs, the traditional VCs see that as like, that's not against something, right? So yeah, just 3 or 4 red flags.
Got it. Thank you, guys. Let's remember that. What's going on?
Yeah, so I think red flags in terms of VCs or like for founders for raising?
For founders for raising.
Like,
What's going to turn you off?
Okay. So what are you looking for?
What is it like?
Okay, so this is really important. You really have to know what you're talking about. It's very simple, but you have to know the industry very well. Like the competitors, like what's the market, like, do you have a vision for this product? And like, have you done like kind of so any question that people throw at you, have you thought about it? And can answer it thoroughly. You don't want to be surprised when someone asks you a question. You need to think about it. Like you're like gonna spend years working on this, and you should have thought about it. So that's I think it's a underrated one. And like details, right? You have to. So I met a company who's doing like details in terms of operations is really important. I met a company that did like Twitter shilling. So they paid a lot of money to like pay for posts, and then they're like, oh yeah, we paid a lot of money to do an advertisement on Twitter, but like it never really got traction. And then I asked, so what did you use like to like show your project? And then the founder didn't even know, right? So he just let his like
the marketing team.
Yeah, and then so that's why it didn't do well, right? You probably should look into like who you're using, are they good, are they real, etc. And then so yeah, that's like kind of like you'd be surprised how people like don't really know what they're talking about. And then in my humble opinion, I think like founders should always know more about what you're doing than VC, right? Because you're the one doing it. We're here to like help you with networking, capital, and strategy, but like in the end, like the team is the one who's doing it. And finally, one thing I really look for is if you know what to talk about, great. If you don't know, just say you don't know, because if you just pretend to know, that's even like more annoying. And then like the good VCs will know that you don't know. So and then VCs who don't know that you don't know, you don't want their money. You don't want their money anyway. don't know, right? It's like that's fine.
We respect the honesty.
Yeah.
Rather than it's just red flags, I think for me it's a little bit of a case of like there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. And I will say as a Filipino, I want to be confident. I actually think that's one thing everyone can lift up and be like, yeah, I can run this company, I can do it. But then we also do see some founders kind of go past that to I'll tell you how it is. It's like, dude, I really improved quite a lot more than you. You might want to listen a little bit. So that's a hard thing, but it is something that's on both sides worth understanding and keeping note of. I think there's a fine line between being driven and kind of being stubborn. Like, I want a founder who's going to stick around during the hard days. I want someone who's going to go, no, this is what my product does. I'm not pivoting every 2 minutes because there's a new trend. No, I'm building this product. But there's also a certain point where you get past that. And there's not product market fit, and you're not willing to change or listen to ideas. So they're not necessarily red flags, but they're kind of ways I think about it in terms of like the characteristics a founder needs. But too much on kind of either spectrum of it can be the red flag where I'm like, much to your point, when you get to a point in the slide, and it's like competitors, we have none. You do it. You have. At least understand your industry well enough to go, yes, the people we're targeting have other options. Here's why we differentiate or what we can do well. That tells me you don't have any. That tells me you've done your research, or you are so myopic that you've not considered threat coming. So they kind of, on any spectrum, they can be great qualities or they can be bad, depending on how far you go. So it's a bit sometimes trying to gauge where they're at on that journey.
Make sure it's balanced, even after you got your funding. It's good, it's good. Okay, for my last and most controversial question, who's willing to hear the Likha pitch and they're always at the back? Just kidding. So our next stage is we're gonna have a lightning round, guys. So I'm gonna give some topics. You either put a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you want to explain, you can only explain in up to 3 words. If you want to defend your but not, you let no explanations. Ready? Alright, just raise your hands and I'll react this time. Alright, first one. Axie Infinity. Alright. Next, play to earn. Ooh. I want to hear some 3 words, brother. What does that mean?
Yeah, honestly,
Think it well.
yeah, honestly, I don't know.
Okay, got it. Next, GameFi. Ooh, got it. Next, 3 words. 3 words.
Bullshit marketing term.
Got it. Don't need to explain. Okay, 3 words.
Free to own.
Three words, brother.
Competitive or competition. Yes, ownership.
You did the thumbs up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thumbs up. So this is thumbs up for GameFi, but not play to earn. I did a thumbs down for play to earn. So ownership, competition, and utility.
And great. Alright, next. Solana.
What's that? What did we say? More than 3 words?
3 words.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother.
Fast.
Time constraint. Blame Cholo.
Fast. User experience, UI, is better than every other one.
Alright, thank you. I'm not Solana. Alright. Go ahead.
So, mobile.
That's it. Next, Finance Smart Chain. Let's see those hands, boys. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Anyone wants to do the 3 words, or let's move on to the next? Good to know, good to know. All right, next we have celebrity NFTs. Okay, no explanations. Next, go ahead, take the words.
If there's purpose.
Okay, okay, fair, fair. AI generated NFTs. Let me see the thumbs first, guys.
It was good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone want to do 3 words?
Why? If real.
Thank you, thank you. Next, ETH flipping BTC. Let's go on next. Interesting. Okay. Translation. Next, decentralized future. Three words.
Okay, so probably because I'm a lawyer, I work really boring, but I think decentralized future is kind of complicated.
Correct. All right.
70 the hot.
Three words.
Circle. It's a circle. Two pins. And example of projects that eventually have to listen to certified bodies.
Go ahead, brother.
Three words: leadership, guidance, and well, this is sort of leaning on a bit of sessions too. Leadership. And
Wait, did you do a thumbs up?
you have to have some sense of centralization.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a lot of words, bro. Penalty for you, man. Take a shot. I'm the last one. The future is multi-chain. Interesting. All right. Thank you, guys. That's all we have here for the panel tonight.
Alright, that was an exciting question namin. Galing talaga mag-moderate ni Nikko kaya. First time, pero ibang siya sa nagsunod, di ba? Okay, so we're going to open the floor now to a Q&A. Again, guys, take advantage of this floor because the panel is amazing. Right?
Yeah. Go all out, guys.
Hi, this is for Ken. Okay, so I was reading about Magnus Capital last night, and Magnus Capital does 3 things, right? Capital, then there's the advisory service, and there's the, hey, here's your network, here's your network. My question is, how much does that change the fact that most startups fail? Is it more of, they might fail, but we're gonna do everything that we can to prevent them from failing? Or is it more like, no, we're here for them, they're not gonna fail. They have our resources, they have our network. So how do they see it? How does the Magnus Capitals
I think
see that?
first and foremost, that's not the mindset that we're going for. The mindset that we're going for is that we invest in these projects because we believe in them and we want them to grow and scale, and that's why we're here. So the mindset of like, most of you guys will fail. It is not within our midst, right? So what we're doing here is, believing in the founders, believing in the products that they're creating, and then they can leverage us in our network and our expertise in space to have them, to make them, launch successfully, for them to have better go-to-market strategy, for them to, enable certain partnerships, for them to grow and scale. So we don't believe that the founders will fail. That's really wrong. That's really a wrong mindset to begin with. I think for us, we believe in every one of them, and that's why we invest in them. And yeah, we do everything in our power to ensure that success. Yeah.
All right, next question.
Hi. Do VCs really like look? Do the backers really matter? Like, what if there's a very promising startup that is pitching and there's no backers yet? Like, what is it for the VCs if they were going to be the first VC to invest into a project?
Yeah, I mean, in some cases that could be the ideal scenario, right? Because you could find something before anyone else has. In other cases, you're obviously taking extra risk because you're maybe the one that's going in and taking the chance first of all. But just as like Ken said, at the end of the day, VCs want the founders to succeed. So if we believe in you, if you create a good story, if you're solving a problem, and you can demonstrate all that, it doesn't necessarily disadvantage you if you haven't got any advantage. But yeah, I mean, it's also subjective. It helps if you have some kind of experience of startups, or you've got some kind of core like knowledge that's special about you as well, and about your product.
I think what you're looking for is that there are two types of VCs, and I think the question would be about, does it matter if I don't have backing yet and I'm raising capital? I think it's much easier if you have good partners already on your cap table before you actually try to fund this. So I'm not just talking about VCs funding you, I'm talking about go-to-market strategies. So let's say you're a GameFi project, right? So what you can do is partner up with certain gaming tools, some sort of like gaming launcher, like Membersco is an example to that. Let's say, and like how you can increase your chances is by perhaps doing grants as well. Grants will help you sustain yourself for some time. And another part to that would be like there are two kinds of VC actually. So some are pre-seed, who will invest in you when you have nothing. So as Gavin was just mentioning, they take on the most risk. And there are follow-on VCs that follow with like bigger VCs on the cap table, just because these bigger VCs have done the research, they've done the due diligence on these certain projects, and it becomes easier for VCs to invest in your vision, in your project, just because others have done it before. So yeah, with that, you have to aim for, I guess, VCs that take a larger risk in terms of investing in pre-seed and seed.
Next question. Isma. Oh.
So again, very much comes down to different styles of VC. Myself, we're a lot smaller, so we have a lot more, and we're a prop fund, so it's our money. We have a lot more flexibility around what risks we'll take versus what we won't. Some large VCs don't have that kind of flexibility. But we see our value is actually being able to take someone from potentially that point of no backer, great idea, it's not fully formed. We can often kind of get in early, take a big risk, and actually help shape that, and almost work with you in that pre-seed stage to get you ready to stand in front of like these guys and actually look the shit, like, look like you're ready to have everything prepped, shiny. That's because we're a different size, different focus, and a different means of helping. So our value add is different to the next stage. And the next stage, again, when you go to Series A, kind of stuff that we work with you on day one, the guys like Magnus Capital that might be helping you for Series A and standing in front of ACTs and Sequoia. And it's kind of everyone helps along that journey. You got to find people that A, believe in you, but also right size. And that means you need to do your homework. Like, don't be sending cold emails to Sequoia at that point. But find someone who's the right fit, that you can connect with, and start that journey with them. It's not about like who else is like, that is, to me, it's genuine advice. Like, this is a dating game. As much as anyone kind of says something, you need to find people who are compatible. You need to find people you like working with. And if you go to a nightclub and you walk around going, want to hook up, want to hook up, want to hook up, where are you going to get? But time, you do a bit of research, you find someone that looks like they're a good fit, you put some effort in, you can get all of that.
Draper Startup House Ventures Fund, baby.
So if you scan that, send your pitch deck apply.
All right, cool.
So this is a very basic question. If there's a new project or a new company out there, what's the top 5 requirements they need to bring when they're pitching to you?
I guess for us is Web3. Like I say, the big thing is to demonstrate the problem solution dichotomy. What is it you're solving? I can't think of the rest off the top of my head, but yeah, you got your credentials, your background, and you demonstrate thorough knowledge of your field. And then, I think a lot of it comes down to, as Nathan says, like this kind of matching thing. Is there like a chemistry between between the parties? Not necessarily, not necessarily sexual, but some kind of romance there. So you can build on something.
One more question.
Okay.
Okay.
Always do your homework. Like that's the number one thing. As I said before. Like, know the stats in your industry. And be honest if you don't. But you should know them. Like, if you're going to spend the next 10 years of your life dedicated to this project, which, we expect you will, because that's why we're backing it, putting the money there.
So that's 10 years ago. It's a long time.
You know what I mean? Like,
Just need it.
if it's going to be several years of your life, you should have at least done your homework. Prep for a meeting a couple of hours ahead. If I am coming up with questions that are fairly basic about your industry or your product that you haven't thought about, that's a huge issue. Because I've spent a couple of hours on this, and you're telling me you're putting money to dedicate to really building this out. So really do your homework and just make sure you've got what you've got. And if someone does come up with a random question you don't know, just say, look, I'll get back to you. And make sure you follow up within the day or whatever with an honest answer. It's those little things that really build confidence. If you tell me you're going to follow up, and I have to check, I won't chase you. That's just legit the fact. But if you tell me you're going to follow up, and I get an email the next morning at 8:30 with the answer, I'm like, yeah, all right. These guys stick to their word, and that kind of thing is important.
Okay, question from Isma.
Hello. It was discussed earlier that all businesses are different. So my question is, if you would invest in, would you choose one with good idea, a good team, or a good friend, and why?
Like a dating question.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. We actually gave like kind of a really non-committal answer.
Just one.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think honestly, like this is the thing, right? Everyone has an idea, right? And a lot of times people think of something, they think it's a good idea for a business, and again, as Nathan said, they haven't really done the research beyond the idea. They just think, oh, this is going to be worth this. This is the best idea ever. No one's ever thought about it. And unless you've done your research, then that idea is actually not really worth anything. So you really have to have things like maybe tested the market, done some research, maybe even got to the stage of proof of concept, things like that. So an idea has to be a bit more something that's slightly more advanced than executed. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
Yeah, so we can answer that as well. So between the three, like good team, good idea, and good friend. Any day I would choose a good team over all of them, okay? So why the good team? Because ideas at the end of the day can be good at this moment in time, but as you progress, maybe someone does it faster than you, maybe someone does it better. So that idea doesn't make sense anymore, right? Because your competitive edge is gone. So if a team that's versatile, a team that knows what they're doing, is way better than just an idea. I think at the end of the day, what defines a project is the founders and the team behind it, developing it, and how much they can pivot and act and execute on what they're actually building. And why can't I be good friends with a good team then? I think moving forward, if they do very well, we'll be good friends. So, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I very much agree. Good team leads to good ideas and good friends.
Good team.
Alright, I think there's a question here.
I'm just taking courage asking question. I'm quite new to Web3. So two types of questions. One is I'm coming from the background of traditional startups. So I'm quite curious, what is the batting average of founding teams from with experience from traditional startups who are able to validate and find product market fit, eventually went into Web3 projects? From your experience, how's the batting average? And then the other point of view that I would like to ask, I haven't done my research, just quite curious. In the traditional point of view of tech startups, normally the go-to advice is niche first, drill down, don't scatter and offer too much projects. But right here, today, tonight, I'm seeing a lot of offers in the Web3. So I'm quite curious, what's the difference? Any advice? So, thank you.
Okay, so two questions. First one, people coming over from Web 2 to Web 3, obviously there's some variation depending on what kind of project it is. I'm fully supportive of it. Like, the struggles that startup founder, whether it's Web 3 or Web 2, are quite similar. Web 3 is still, like, most of it is a technology that can be learned. As there are some things where it's like, if you've stepped into crypto yesterday and you're launching a DeFi protocol, let's get the hell out. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. But there are a lot of things you can bring over. If you've got the right team around you, I think you can transition. For us, we spend a lot of time in gaming, so I love seeing Web 2 gaming studios come over and go, we're going to integrate NFTs or Web 3 into our system. Because gaming's hard. They know the really hard bit of the equation, and then they're adding on a technology that we're all kind of learning through and whatnot. So that to me, it's kind of great. I'm not too stressed. There are some components where like, if you don't know, if you're not super into crypto, don't necessarily launch a DeFi project. And then the second question, was that that's the very first one. I think it's quite good. What was the second question?
So the second question is, from your point of observation, the batting average of founding teams who went to Web3 projects who didn't have any experience versus from Web3 projects that came from other projects that were able to validate from the traditional tech.
What was the other question?
Oh, that's the second question, the batting average.
What was the other question?
The first question was the niche versus
Yes.
offers.
Sorry. Look, I agree. I want to say people do one thing really well. Build a market. I think particularly in Web3, everything's global. You can build lots of stuff. Build whatever the first thing you build is. Make sure you really build it out. Like, we've seen platforms like Uniswap, for example. It wasn't so fully featured. Wasn't the first person, but it did what it was supposed to do incredibly well. So it got traction. It's very easy as a startup founder when you've got lots of people in your ear saying, "Oh, you can also do this. You can add this. You can do that." You try and build all these things, and sometimes you always build yourself into mediocrity by doing all of them at about 50%. And my personal opinion, I'd rather see you do one thing incredibly well, create an amazing experience in using that. And then once you get to that level, yeah, you can diversify out and add bells and whistles. But I typically go down the path of trying to do one thing incredibly well first.
Yeah, just to piggyback on that as well. I've seen, just to give you an example from my own experience, okay? It's a fintech startup. They started out as an impact banking app. So basically, they help you, contribute to, environmental causes, etc. They built an app, it was really super slick, and everything. They made really great partnerships with environmental causes and things like that. But basically, they did it really well. Basically, their business model was B2C, and as everyone knows, in the last 12 months, the market is dying, right? So they did a niche, did it really well, and then they ran into a problem. What happened when they ran into that problem? Because and this is again coming back to this idea about founders being strong and dedicated and stuff. They were able to make a pivot during the summer from B2C to B2B, and they've actually won contracts already on the B2B model. It's based off all the hard work that they already delivered and it's built in the app. They were able to make a pivot really well through their hard work.
Yeah, so I actually think there's no like good data. I think nobody has really organized this, but there are a lot of cases. For example, Orca is like really good at text and so on, and like they have a lot of like IT background, and then they have really good understanding of UI UX. So like they launched much later than the first class, but they bring it out on the Mercurial file as well, and then. So these ones in particular, I just want to, I think there's more of them came from web space. Like the Macaulay and Now brothers, like although they had some backgrounds recently, but they apparently did like 15 projects. I'm not sure how much of that is true, but think about it, like if you're able to do 15 projects, it's probably because you're good, right? Yeah. So they do get a lot of shit for that, but they have a lot of web too as well. And yeah, there are many examples. You should look for the examples yourself because it's probably not a lot of statistics. But just on like impression basis, like web two founders and engineers, they really well in Web3 because they really they have a really good training.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's no certain data about like Web 2 or Web 3 batting, I guess the batting average for that, the success rate. I don't think there's any sort of, I guess it's too early to tell, it's too early to gather data for that. But in general, as you just mentioned, you have a lot better chances coming from a Web 2 background just because you have the training, you have, I guess, the experience. And there are a lot of similarities coming into this. It's at the end of the day, it's tech, right? Crypto is tech, and if you have that experience, it's kind of going to be very easy. It's going to be easier for you. And the second question is it developing a certain niche? Yeah. So I don't believe you have to create a certain niche or create a new market segment to make a project. I think, as Nikko just mentioned, when you're doing something, you have to just do it good, right? So there are tons of marketplaces, tons of launchpads, tons of games. And what really matters at the end of the day there is what value you're giving off building. So if you're a game, you should be really fun, right? If you're a launchpad, you should have a good community behind that. You should, have a system that's good, perhaps even a certain new system, a unique way of actually giving allocations to the public. And perhaps if you're a marketplace, make sure you're fast and you have offerings that are exclusive, perhaps, or you generate a lot of volume, or you have a good matching system. So I think whatever you're building, just make sure you have a value proposition and you have a competitive edge. That will take you very far.
Another example I remember is Digi Geico or something. So they had really strong background in just gaming in general. They raised 200 mil per night. So and aim for like, but very good at marketing. It's like a lot of them will probably not do very well. So like prior experience is really important.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Gaming fees is really interesting space because we did see a lot of games launch over the last 18 months. Funding came in, games launched it. A lot of the people who were the founders were pure crypto kind of people. They love gaming, super passionate about gaming, play games all the time. But they're up against people in Web 2 who've been 20-year veterans as studio product manager, production managers producing 3D games. That's a hell of a lot of experience. The ability to learn crypto or blockchain to implement into a game. I mean, crypto's been around a while, but a lot of people working in crypto have been working in it for less than 3 years. People's level of experience and knowledge with blockchain and how to implement it versus people's experience in gaming as a profession. The depth of knowledge is so much higher on that vertical that you're far better off with someone who's got experience in that and bringing them across to crypto as opposed to going, I'm going to learn how to be a gaming studio this week. Like that's incredibly hard. And then the same applies for a lot of other industries, such as gaming, I know quite well, and gaming like is a great example of that.
All right, so everyone, give a round of applause to all the panelists, everyone, moderators. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Maybe you could take a picture in the middle. Yeah. Just take a look at our lovely program manager, Faye. Before we move on to network and then ask the panelists any other questions, maybe you want to get a message. I don't know, you guys could go up to them. I just want to plug the Follow Cake Factory and the Urban Congo. They're going to be at Papa, Katipunan, from Friday, Saturday. They're there until 2 a.m. So amazing, amazing Follow Cakes and corn dogs. So we'll plug